You've seen the title, stick around because I'm going to take you to the worst stadium in England. Am I being slightly harsh in my assessment of the Oxford United Stadium situation? Maybe in the fact that I'm calling it the worst stadium in England, but I think there's a lot of Oxford fans who potentially might agree with that statement, and there is a lot of things that are wrong with the stadium. There's a lot of ways in which where Oxford play right now is holding them back as a club, and there have been plans for quite a long time now for them to try and move to a location that they actually own. But we will go to the current stadium soon. We are also going to go to where the new stadium is due to be built. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the plans go well for the club. But look at where I am just now. Yes, behind me is where the Manor Ground once stood. We're going to go and investigate it in a second, but I need to show you this. This is the Britannia pub, the Britannia Inn, and look, how many of these have we seen in the past? And yet I've never seen the one in Oxford. I have a lot of personal stories connected with this football club that I'll tell you about later on. Oxford United Football Club, founded here as Headington FC in October 1893. The former Manor Ground opposite was its home from 1925 look to 2001. And why were they formed? Well, it was to keep the Headington cricket team fit during the winter season. Isn't it funny how so many football clubs were formed in order to keep the cricket players fit? Cricket seemed like it was the priority back in the day, but how times have changed, eh? I know the Ashes is on currently when I'm filming this, and I've been getting into it, but I mean, it doesn't compare, does it, the numbers of people that watch football to cricket? Yeah, the amazing thing about me not making a video at Oxford United is the fact that I was born here, and it is the first stadium I ever saw a game at, the Kassam Stadium. Think of the hundreds of stadiums I've ever visited. And being from this area, I never lived in Oxford, but I was born here. But you know, you'd go shopping at the weekends with your mates, you'd come out here, and you would always see this. Do not ask me why it's here. It's just a really famous landmark of this area of Oxford, Headington. Look at it.
Do you live around here at all?
I don't anymore.
No.
I was born in Oxford.
There was a chap called Bill Heine, H-E-I-N-E,
Yep.
and he lived here, and I think his son owns it now.
Yeah.
And he put it in as a protest, something to do with climate change.
Oh, okay, right. It's been there for years. I remember seeing it as a
and
child.
there was a total outcry, and people wanted to get rid of it, but now it's listed.
It's become a part of it. Oh, it's a listed building.
I think so.
The absolute fountain of knowledge that is Wikipedia says the Sharks' appearance in 1986 was commissioned by the house's owner, radio presenter, and it was in protest to planes flying near Oxford on their way to bomb Libya, American warplanes. Here we go. So next to what is now a Shell garage with a little Waitrose, here is the old turning to Oxford United's football stadium. I'm now making the walk that thousands would have made. This is where the stadium would have been. And yeah, I never actually came here. It was knocked down in when did they play their last game? It said in that plaque 2001. 2001 is when I saw my first game at the Kassam Stadium, so it must have been the season after that they left here, or maybe during that season. I'm not sure exactly when the date was, but I must have missed out coming to this old school ground by a few months, maybe a year. It's an absolutely lovely part of the world and some really, really nice houses around here, and I just think with the growth of football, especially sort of in the more modern time, I think they had to move just because of the space. And I mean, look at this, these lovely little houses down these lovely little roads here. Then this is where I think where the main entrance would have been. And I do believe that this mural here depicts the hordes of fans that were going to games. You may be able to pick that up. I might just overlay a clip or two from my other camera so you can see it a bit more clearer. But it's not hugely, if you didn't know that Oxford played here, you wouldn't know that that was to do with the football. But from what I've seen online, I think that is to depict the crowds of people. But I wish they did have a nice little plaque here. I know they've got something on the pub across the road, but a little Oxford United badge maybe on the floor here, painted in. So despite being founded in the 1800s, Oxford United actually adopted the name Oxford United in 1960. They played in a number of temporary locations up until 1925 when they finally moved here. So Oxford became a league side in 1962, just 2 years after they changed their name from Headington to Oxford. And just check this out, look, this is their league performances. It's been a while since I've done one of these videos where we delve into the history of a club and visit their old stadium. I love these videos, and yeah, just look at their sort of league finishes over time. Like, as you can see, 1962 is when they first played in the Football League, which is quite amazing. A city the size of Oxford waiting until 1962 to have a football team in the Football League, and especially as someone from here, it frustrates me that Oxford have never been in the Premier League as well. Big place, and I hope that one day they can get there. But yeah, as you can see, look, that is their sort of league finishes over time. They've been in the second tier of quite a bit, look, especially in their earlier history, but look at the dip into tier 4 and tier 5. Those times in the mid-80s were the best times to be an Oxford United supporter. Yes, they were in the top tier of English football, and they even won the League Cup in 1986. 1986, though, was in the time that English clubs were banned in Europe because of the Heysel disaster. English clubs had a 6-year ban from European competition, so Oxford have only ever qualified for Europe once, and they weren't able to play in Europe. I know that is a tough thing for Oxford fans to take. They got relegated from the top flight in 1988 and began an 18-year decline, which saw the club relegated to the conference, the 5th tier non-league, in 2006, and that meant that they became the first winners of a major trophy to be relegated from the Football League. After 4 seasons in the conference and in the non-leagues of English football, they eventually won the playoff final in 2010 and made it back to League 2, but they've never really hit the heights, obviously, of the mid-80s. And yeah, the only team, or the first team to have won a major trophy, the League Cup, to then get relegated to the non-leagues. Everywhere I've been on this channel, from Australia to Asia, Thailand, Indonesia, Hungary, Slovakia, the Czech Republic, Spain, all over Scotland, north, east, south and west, England, Wales, Italy, Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, and this is the first place I ever watched a football match when I was 7 years old, I think. It was my mate's birthday. Chris Evans is his name, not the radio DJ, and not Captain America either. And he was to be the mascot, because it was his birthday, for Oxford v York, and he cried before kickoff, before he actually came out for the game. So can we get some laughing emojis in the comments for Chris Evans crying, please? I'm sure he'd love that. But yeah, it is quite amazing, really, that this is the first place I ever watched a football match. I obviously fell in love with the sport, but one of the reasons, one of the biggest drawbacks of this stadium is it is free stands, and the stand there behind me, not even a stand, is literally just a fence. It's honestly surreal being back. It's kind of mad, actually, and I can't bring you to the Kassam Stadium without showing you the statue of the Ox, obviously. Now I'm actually here and back for the first time since, I could not even tell you honestly when the last time I actually was. Let's touch it, come on. I have actually just been inside, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about sort of the reasons why I don't think it's the best stadium, but I do now feel quite guilty calling it the worst stadium. Obviously there would be worse in terms of facilities. The fact they don't own it themselves, I think, holds them back. I've just done a loop at the stadium pretty much, and from what I can work out, there's no club shop open today. I mean, it's like middle of the day, but you'd expect maybe the club shop to be open. I've been to a lot smaller clubs lower down the divisions, and they do have a club shop open and stuff, but yeah, I feel like Oxford are hamstrung a little bit. They haven't got a huge amount of time left to play here, and I just feel like a club in a city the size of Oxford deserve to have their own stadium that they own, that they can make revenue from, that they can do what they want with, and yeah, they don't have to worry too much. I know like a lot of clubs don't own their own stadium, but Oxford's my first club, my first love. I feel like they need one of their own. Another reason why the experience for fans maybe at this stadium isn't so good, yeah, we've spoken just briefly earlier about the fence obviously behind. It is a bit of a running joke, I feel like, for away fans and fans of other clubs to come to Oxford and sort of take the piss out of the fence side a little bit, but yeah, I think, you know, the fact that it's like a lot of modern stadiums plonked out well outside of the city. We saw the Manor Ground, where the Manor Ground was earlier, and yes, they probably had to move because of the space and stuff, but that was in and around the people of Headington who could go and watch the football match from their local community, whereas now you look at this stadium and what do we have here? We have a view, a Frankie and Benny's, a Hollywood Bowl, and it's, you know, out on a main road. It's hard to get here. I do remember the the experience of even just trying to get here as a fan isn't the best, isn't the easiest. But yeah, you know, there's other reasons why maybe it isn't the best. But look, here we are now, back around to where we started when we got here. This is the fence side. I don't know suppose if you remember during COVID, I think fans come and brought a van, didn't they, and stood on the van and looked over the fence. But look at that, look, you can see right through. Actually doesn't look like too bad of a stadium. That's a nice stand. There's a couple of nice stands here, but yeah, look, the fact that this right here is just one of the stands. Look, scoreboard's up there. I think that's the scoreboard, isn't it? But yeah, look, I think people were just parking their vans here and just like standing on the top of a van to watch the football match. Oxford United, big club, big city, get 4 stands, come on. Now we've come into the Hollywood Bowl just to get a drink, a coffee, but the coffee machine's broken, so it's the only caffeinated beverage they had was a Red Bull. I'm not a big fan, I'll be honest, but yeah, man needs caffeine. And look, there is the Kassam out there, and this is what the fans have to do, or if you want to come for a beer or whatever before the match, in the vicinity of the stadium, you'll have to come in here. And if you want coffee, you better hope that the machine is working by the next time Oxford play at home. So yeah, I did just briefly get inside the stadium there, and I have found a fans forum, I think this is from, and it does say, why does a club need a new stadium, what's wrong with the current one? And they have written, the Kassam Stadium is owned and operated by Ficora Oxford United Stadium Limited. Under the terms of a licence agreement, Oxford United are allowed to play only its first team home league and cup matches at the stadium, with some provision for friendly and testimonial games. The club has some use of office space and the ticket office within the stadium. The current licence is due to expire in the 30th of June 2026. They have confirmed that under the terms of the current licence there is no right of renewal after June 2026. When the Oxford City Council released the land to be able to build a stadium on back in the day, it required the site to be used for football until the 14th of October 2026, but that wasn't any right for Oxford United to play football there. It was just that any football is required to be the primary use of the site until October 2026. Basically, after June the 30th, 2026, Oxford United will have no legal right to use or occupy the Kassam Stadium. There is no right of renewal in the licence, there is no security of tenure. So yeah, basically the only way that they can secure their future is to build a new home for themselves, one that they own. And again, this forum's really, really interesting. If I remember, and let me know if I haven't in the comments and I'll stick it in there, I'll leave a link to it in the comment section below so you can read through the FAQs, the frequently asked questions of the fans around all these questions, like who will own the new ground. Oxford United will apparently own 100% of the new ground should it come to be built. Why does it have to be in Kidlington? We're going to go and visit the new site of where it's due to be very soon. It's due to be in Kidlington, which isn't too far from here, but it is far away from, I suppose, Headington, where the club were originally from. But yeah, basically from what I read out, they've not got no security here, they don't own the ground, they need a place of their own. Right, let's make the 16-minute drive to the location of what is supposed to be their new stadium. Now, what I'm about to read out is from the official Oxford website. Stadium project team announced. This is from the 1st of June 2023, so only a few weeks ago from when I'm filming this. With a series of listening events and exhibitions held over the last few weeks, the club continues to engage with and work alongside the local community as the search for a new home moves forward. We are delighted to formally announce that the club will be working with a number of highly experienced and very respected business partners, all of whom will provide invaluable assistance as the U's look to move into their new stadium by the start of the 2026-2027 season. So just up this road is Kidlington Roundabout, and I'll show you on a map exactly where Kidlington is, just so you can get a feel for where it is compared to where Headington is and where the Kassam currently is as well, their current stadium. But yeah, Oxford United and Oxfordshire County Council are in negotiations on the terms on which the council-owned land, which is a part of just up here called the Triangle, could be used for the development of a new stadium for the club. It's approximately 5 hectares inside, and it is situated on the green belt, which obviously won't make things easy to well, doesn't make things as easy to build on, I suppose. But it's close to Oxford Parkway railway station, which I suppose will make it a little bit easier from a fan's perspective. But there are still talks and negotiations going on between the council and Oxford United FC. There are so many meetings and things and criteria and planning meetings, developments. Like, it sounds like an absolute nightmare trying to build a stadium, you know, on council-owned land in the green belt in a built-up area. But look, if it helps Oxford United get their own stadium with better transport links, then it could propel Oxford. Like I always have said to friends of mine, people off camera, I've never made an Oxford video until today, of course, but I see teams like Bournemouth doing very well and getting into the Premier League. Obviously Reading isn't too far from here, they've been in the Premier League. Why can't Oxford United become a Premier League club? Maybe they need their own stadium, they need a new lease on life, and hopefully by 2026, 2027 that can become a reality for the club. I hope that this video doesn't come across too negative to Oxford United Football Club. I really want the best for them, and like I've said numerous times throughout this video, I think it'd be amazing to see Oxford progress and do well. I feel like they need their own home. As much as the Kassam has maybe been a bit of a stopgap in their history, where they had to leave the crowded Manor Ground, I feel like if they really want to move on, they have to get this new stadium sorted. It's all up in the air, like I say. The next probably 3 to 6 months is going to be a very important time for the club in terms of like what they agree. But yeah, I really do hope they can sort it out and that we can see Oxford maybe one day in the Premier League. What do you guys think? I know there'll be a lot of Oxford fans watching this, so let me know in the comments your thoughts on the Kassam Stadium. Have I been too harsh? Have I been too lenient? Let me know in the comments section below. Yeah, should they get another stand? Yeah, they should probably have 4 stands, shouldn't they? It reminds me, everybody in Scotland who watches my videos obviously live up there, have a lot of Scottish viewers. There's probably loads of comments already of people who haven't even seen this part of the video, but it's the Falkirk of England, isn't it? Or as Falkirk, the Scottish Oxford. They both have 3 stands, which is a bit weird for a stadium in 2023, I think. Anyway, but yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm going to leave another video on screen right now, so please do click on that. If you do click on it, your team are going to sign Mbappe this summer. So what are you waiting for? Click that video. Mbappe's going to join your club. Maybe you're an Oxford fan. Mbappe at the new stadium, 2027. Click it now.